Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, sorry, I'm missing my joy.
You're missing your hat.
I'm missing my whimsy. So, guys, welcome back to round 2.
After a really exciting game 1 of April, just coming back from the early pressure of the crits, we are now going into a sort of going into Blangdmire now.
Yeah, so we've got a really interesting match coming up for you guys between two relative newcomers to Vanguard, actually. We've got Blangdmire versus the new Michu support, actually.
I'm excited for Michu. I love cannonballing.
Yeah, so kind of the person I'm familiar with. He's a friend of a friend, you can call it. I know him. They're from a group that's like they're generally from the Bath locals, which is not a massive community, but it is a growing one for sure. Full of players that are kind of recently got into the game with kind of the start to mid of D. So it's a lot of players kind of first or second event, which has been really nice to see a lot of new faces.
Yeah, it's great to see that the game is growing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Alune was part of your VPL team.
Yeah. So we had her on stream yesterday, playing a fairly cooked deck. It was a kind of early stage. It was kind of like Altmile, Jewel Knight, Rezael. So you could have kind of took the Claret Rezael idea and try applying it to Royal Paladin. And yeah, they're going to be getting started.
That's the greed on starter. What a great choice in starter.
Absolutely, the cultured choice, if you will.
What a little fella. I love him.
Yeah, going to be just kind of going to be riding the grade 1. Immediately generating the energy. Yeah.
And then
Passing turn.
Not much else you can do going fast.
Getting to see the ride land for the alt arts is definitely an experience for Michu. But it's always so trippy seeing like, the alt arts from, like, was it set 8 or 10 for us? I think it was 8 in Japan, 10 for us. That's how, or 8 or 9 for us, I think. Because it's the whole live collab from Vanguard Zero. Because in Vanguard Zero they were like vanillas, but then in D they got a alt art.
Searching the order.
Yeah, immediately to get to search out. Oh, I believe I might have gotten these the wrong way around. Yes, I have. Oopsie, I'll reload the deck logs. That should be fine. But in the meantime, we're going to be seeing the Cannonball order, which I think it's all set up. I think is the name of the order. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the card we're going to be looking at here is the initial Cannonball order for Michu. Oh, there we go. Hopefully this should sort itself out. There we are, we're back. Yeah, which is all set up. So in the order zone, if you have a Vanguard with Michu in its card name, you can rest it, Soul Charge 1, and choose a Cannonball from your hand and put it into the order zone, so you can't just play these orders. But
helps you just unbrick from all your orders.
Yeah, it's definitely an important part of the game. Because the thing with those orders is, like, we were talking about these kind of situations earlier where, like, orders have a habit of clogging your hand up, so they can be very, very difficult to cope with, actually. Especially we're going to be...
So soul charging 3 blanks. Elementary is gone,
yeah,
but...
that's rough. But I don't think super comes up in this game.
It's not
it's just a
the end
PG,
of the world.
right? It's in this matchup, it's a PG like any other, so it's nothing particularly unique. But we get to see the Vadrock coming out. So again, we haven't been following this deck too much, but Vadrock is one of the cards introduced in set 4. So when it's placed, other than during the battle phase, you Soul Charge 1, and then you may Counterblast 1 and call a card from Soul. But if you have Vanguard with Blangdmire, then at the end of that turn it goes back to Soul.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that extra little effect there. We get to see the damage being dealt to Kyan here, but also importantly, it gains 10k for every 4 face-down cards, so it scales as the game goes on.
It gets big.
It
gets fat.
Ooh.
So that was a no guard on a defensive. So
yeah, but we do see the hostage package coming out as well. So we were saying it earlier. Oh, sorry, the boost package for Dark States.
So yeah, that's the booster one.
Yeah, you want to pick your Vadrocks to make all of your Zamoogs, which gain a crit and 5k. Massive.
Fat. Your numbers, they get big. You hit your divine skill. You say you're not PGing these.
And then you just make them as big as humanly possible.
No. Got no PGs. Womp womp.
Womp womp. This is the real womp womp experience.
So riding 2. I'm curious to see how Michu wants to play this out. I've actually watched Michu versus Blangdmire at all. Obviously, Blangdmire sort of plays its own game, but it reminds me of V-Series Valkyrion in a way, where it can sort of just break through anything.
It's like you were saying, like thing with Blangdmire is it does sort of play its own game in a way, but it does also make it kind of dangerous because it often doesn't feel like there's too much you can do in order to really deal with it. But we also get to see one of the promo orders coming out, which is another Cannonball order that says when you play it, you draw a card. When it's put in the order zone, you draw a card. But then also, if you have a Vanguard that's grade 3 or greater with Michu in its card name, you can put it into drop, choose one of your units, it gives 10k, and then choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and your opponents can't intercept and can't stand it during the next turn.
A little bit of stun action, which is actually going to be really good into Blangdmire because you can stun the Vadrox.
And the deck has no restanders.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to restand it with the Alchemist, but I mean that's a choice at that point. There you go, and yeah, being able to negate those two fronts is actually pretty. Oh, the front damage device is pretty big actually. Because yeah, that defensive really negated that.
The Yuki are bouncing it back. Yuki is such a good card.
Showing us a secret she picked up yesterday. Going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh! Ooh, the one thing I think is important here, I believe that the deck is on 2 hostage orders. That feels correct. 2. Okay, yeah. So you're not too punished for this. This is fine. It's only going to be interesting seeing a ladder come up here. Because with ladder, you basically turn off one of their cannonball orders, at least for a turn. Of course, what we get to see here is the fated 1 of 0 Blangdmire, whose effect is when it attacks the Vanguard, you bind 2 or more, between 2 and 4 cards from Soul, face down. You may draw a card, and if you bound 4 cards, your opponent chooses 2 of their rearguards and binds them face down. And then you get a scaling 5k for every 2 face-down cards in your bind zone.
Yeah.
But importantly, once you have 8 cards in your bind zone, at the beginning of the guard step, you can declare your divine skill, gain a critical, and effectively stop your opponent from playing or activating sentinels until the end of their turn.
One that would just put a crit to Soul. We saw.
You shuffle draw this time because you put all the triggers to the bottom, and then you shuffle after that. But importantly, when you activate the divine skill, you wipe all of their Vanguard's abilities until they rewrite or until the end of their turn. So it's actually like a soft delete in a way. But that's very, very dangerous for a lot of standard decks who often rely on that to sunrise.
Yeah, especially if you don't.
Ooh, that's the OT coming out. That's an unfortunate one. But I think this deck might not super need it. Alright, there you go. You're trying to go.
There we go. That's your number generator.
And now that column's going to be 30k. That's not again.
Going first into a 20.
Into a 10.
Sorry, into a 10. Yeah.
You're gonna go Vanguard.
Say 20 when they check the defense.
Foresight. This is the future side the Conqueror's hacky gives you.
There we go. There's the restander. What a board setup already.
So I think it's Netherworld Butcher. So if you're familiar with I think it's a Reiji, the grade 1 for Varga, when it's placed, if you have a grade 3 or grade 2 angle with Blangdmire, your opponent cannot intercept until the end of turn, which is really bad for like not necessarily hostage decks, but a lot of the decks kind of have really. So for example, into Grand Blue, those Marauding Shades, if they're on the board, can't intercept. And then when it boosts, if you have a grade 3 or grade 2 Vanguard with some Blangdmire in its name, you choose a card from drop and put it into Soul. Because what Blangdmire often has the issue of is when you swing Vanguard, if you're, so for example, there you go, you're going to see 2.5, not much, but, there you go, he draws trying to think if the opponent can guard it, but when Blangdmire whiffs its ride line, it actually has a really difficult time getting back in the game.
Soul,
So this is almost like a named Falk rate. I don't remember the cat, but if you don't have that grade in Soul, put it. It's sort of like a tailored one of those, because no guard, a ladder, and a critical trigger coming out. How are we going to go most likely to the Zamoog here? Oh my gosh, because now you can swing Vadrock and then Zamoog swings for 40k, 2 crit.
So you're going to
1,
3?
2, no defensives though. That's huge. No defensives is really important here.
You could be looking at going to 4 or 5 this turn.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're trying to push to 5. This is valid. This is understandable.
Like Divine Skill could even happen next turn.
Yeah, as early as next turn, yeah. I think Vadrock was such a massive consistency boost for this deck because the trouble was...
You needed it.
Yeah, your numbers just weren't it before, but now having the consistent scaling
OT was in hand, but...
You're happy to see that if you're Alune, because that means next turn's getting a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a card going into Soul. Vadrock is going to be swinging?
No, I would be using the PGs now, if you can.
Do you want to maybe it's thinking maybe it's not happening next turn, or is he maybe overvaluing his PGs right now a little bit?
Oh, they might. Might not have any PGs.
It would be very unfortunate because that means that they're really due to draw them soon, which really isn't the position you want to be in as the Michu player.
So now they're going to discard and go into the Michu. Thinking what to discard. They have the grade 1 Michu. They have the new version of Michu that it's a recent support in hand. What are the other two? What are the other three in hand? But also, with Veidrock, because your numbers get so big, naturally, you don't have to tab about the divine skill if you don't want to. Like, there's nothing stopping Alune from going, I'm in a comfortable game state. I can just hold off the divine skill for another turn, maybe push to 4 this time, and then especially if how Kion was guarding dropping the OT early, that implies that no PGs are in hand. That could be a consideration.
And that's going to be also the grade 2 Knockno coming down. So Knockno used to be a grade 1 that used to go behind the Vanguard and could attack. But what we've been seeing recently is, because obviously now we have a Spear Right as well, but what Knockno is able to do is when your Cannonball order is when your cannon is put from order zone into drop, it gains 10k. But then also if your Vanguard is Michu on rear guard once per turn, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can Cannon Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets, when it attacks, if no drive checks were performed this turn during a rear guard, perform a drive check.
Yeah.
So you're able to kind of go 4 attacks, and 2 to 3 of them will be drive checking.
Yes.
Because I believe you used to be able to call Knockno to the back row to be able to drive check. So you kind of go like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I remember, some of the old Cannonballers were able to like move a card to the Vanguard, swing, and then like move back.
I'm not familiar with how old Michu played.
Because I believe the card in question was, I believe, this one, which was the old Michu order. So which you play with Cannon Blast 1 when it goes to the order zone, of course you draw a card. But then if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Michu in its card name, you can put this card to drop and change all of your Vanguard's Cannonball abilities to, when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 2, choose 3 of your units and then gain 10k until the end of turn. But the scaling, I think, used to work across with the old Knockno, which I believe is this one.
That I do remember.
Yeah, which basically said the back row center, at the end of a battle your Vanguard attacked, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, CB1 discard a card, stand this, and swap the positions of your Vanguard with this one, and at the end of the turn, swap the positions back.
Yeah.
So you'd effectively be able to go...
And because you're swapping the positions, you're not riding.
And you're driving a check. So you'd be able to go like, Vanguard swing, rear guard swing, it swings, last swing.
Yeah.
And it's like still, you're getting like, 4 drive checks still, which is very, very aggressive.
4 drive checks, you're able to...
Because remember, they would maintain triggers because it moves.
They maintain triggers, yeah.
So you'd be able to just swap them back, swing again, big numbers, trigger, and just swap them back at the end.
So, Soul Blasting 2, giving 3 units 10. I see a world where Alune says no guard to this.
I mean, you're on 1 damage. I don't think you're in like a massive... Never mind.
You're going to 3 now.
Never mind. 1. Oh, is that a heal?
There's a defensive.
Doesn't go off, but it is a heal. Second check. That's another Veidrock. But the 1 defensive can really come up in this case.
It looks like 5 in hand.
You're going to go CB1 discard. You're going to stand it, swap their positions. Does it count as your Vanguard at this stage? Surely, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then Knockno can still drive check afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, so that's your Vanguard now.
Look at me.
Also denies G guarding if they don't
True.
No, but a more relevant example is the fronts.
Unhinged premium cooking.
The more relevant is fronts. The 20k fronts. Dropping grid OT.
Revealing that it's out. The thing is, I find often with OTs, the biggest threat is revealing that they're out more than like actually them doing
It's a nice breath of fresh air if you see it out. Yeah, I think Alune's going to try and stay low.
Ooh.
Oh, another.
That's a critical. She eats it.
So ignore what I just said because you're going straight. She is going straight to 5.
That's such a scary position to be in right now. But yeah, this is just the kind of pressure that Kaink is able to put out as Michu. Again, nothing to scoff at.
Doesn't even have Persona Ride.
Oh.
In hand. Yes.
She does now. She top
does.
decked it. Wait, that means within 3 cards she had 2 Persona Rides? Oh my god. That is unhinged behavior.
This board is really strong. Yeah.
And another Zamug, because yeah, I got stunned, but you want the filter. Because Zamug has the effect of Counterblast 1. And then you're able to effectively do
Top
the
3, yeah.
ride line skill. Yeah, but you get to put any number into soul that you want. And as long as you put 1 or more, you draw a card. Ooh! Very strong here. So what we're going to be seeing here is Zamug, which is, of course, like we said, top 3, put any number into soul if you put any draw card. But we're going to be seeing 2 Shattered Colossus, or single Shattered Colossus, which on attack, if you have cards in the bind zone, gains 10k, or 4 cards in bind zone. But when it's put into soul by a card's ability, if you have a Great 3 or Greater Vanguard with Blangdmire in its card name, you bind them face down and draw 1.
Yeah.
Insane
That's
effect.
a lot of value.
So she just went from being really behind on hand to just relaxing, chilling out.
Huge plus.
And it costs nothing of it on her board. Her board costs nothing. And because she put 2 cards in soul, she also draws a card again. She just drew 3 cards off of 1 counter.
Counterblast 1.
And decked in 3 units, by the way.
Entrana.
Oh my god. What an insane attack.
Yeah,
Insane
just
attack.
just remind yourself, always don't forget energy.
Especially when you have Zamug on the board, yeah.
Vadra. Nope. Oh, there's
Another
there's
Shadow Strike
one.
Colossus. Oh. So there's a
is-
world here where she swings. Yeah, because she only has the 1 order, so she's going to go on the booster behind Zamug. But what you're probably going to do here is swing Shatter Strike. Place the ladder, draws another card. Oh my
Racing
God.
Ladder?
That's another Persona Ride.
Yeah. Though I don't know if this game has got much.
No, it
more
doesn't.
into
I think there's a world here where you swing Zamug at Vanguard, no effect. Oh, sorry, you swing Zamug boosted, just to like a big number. Your opponent takes it. You go Shatter Strike, or you go like Zamug swing into rear, Shatter Strike swing, so they're forced to bind cards that you don't want there face down. And then you're able to swing Vanguard, restand the Zamug, all effects there, and then swing Zamug, because you'll be under Divine Skill. But no, she's going for the... There you go. She's going to swing, and she's going to go...
Blangdmire. Now,
bind 4.
are we
1,
going to see Divine Skill?
2. I think you have to here. 3, and most importantly... Is there a world where you start binding triggers face down just to mess around their accounts? Same as Gandiva would.
Yeah.
I think you just pepper 1 or 2 triggers at a time, so that your opponent goes trigger count, and you just don't have to announce it. Which will really mess around. So it goes 2 to pass. Divine Skill. Are we going to see the Divine Skill? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's going to be 25 game power as well. Yeah, binds the things face down. Is she going to say... Are we going to say Divine Skill? Surely. We'll count to us 1 stand.
Counterblast 1 stand.
And are we going to give Divine Skill to the Vanguard? I certainly hope so.
Unfortunately, we can't pick up audio, so we can't hear the Divine Skill.
I think she's giving a number. Yeah, because that hand is not it in terms of shield value. Surely, no, he's eyeing the PG. Surely, she said Divine Skill. Oh no, that's a critical on the Vanguard. That's Divine Skill activating.
That feels like Divine Skill.
It's crit for game at this stage. With a lot of thinning, can Alune do it? But there's something so satisfying about like the Divine Skill mechanic. Just like looking at your opponent, just like slamming your fist on the table, shouting Divine Skill, and just watching everything, all the guardrails come off.
Yeah. And the fact that Blangdmire is so insane.
No guard. First check. Vadrock. Second check. Ooh,
No
Shatter Strike. No
triggers.
trigger. That's going to be first check. Nothing. Oh, nope. That's not it. Second check. Nothing again. That's Energy Blast 3. 2 damage again. But again, still under Divine Skill. No PGs.
No PGs?
Is it enough?
Double.
so much shield. That's 10, 20, 30, 38, that's 41. 41k? Does he have it? 1 damage, 41. End of turn, that's going to convert to another card draw, by the way, which is incredible. He says no guard, and that's going to be nothing, and that's going to be 6 damage, and Alune is going to take the game. What a fantastic game, too.
Blangdmire, Badif.
No, but you can see how much hand that deck generates, because like you can see how threatening Michu can be, and how much Blangdmire can just go from nothing. Because that hand was nothing. That hand was 2 cards. Top deck Persona right into like a 6, 7, 8 card hand.
Yeah.
And like all this pressure coming out of nowhere. Absolutely insane.
Those numbers got scary, and that was without Vaydrock.
Yeah, that was only one boost or no Vaydrock boost. Yeah, that was with the normal base level boost package.
Pre Vaydrock.
Pre Vaydrock. This is a pre-set for Blangdmire deck for intents and purposes. That was incredible.
Terrifying deck. Absolutely hate playing against it. But I always get my ass whipped.
I was going to say, with the power of Divine Skill demonstrated, I have an idea of exactly what deck I'm going to be breaking you guys next round. So stay tuned. It's going to be a neat one you haven't seen in a little while. Take care, guys.
Ciao.
We'll be right back.